We've seen a number of asymmetrical competitive multiplayer games in recent memory, Evolve, Dead by Daylight, and Deceit among others, but we're most excited for Friday the 13th, the game. Developed by Gun Media and Illfonic, this video game adaptation of the acclaimed horror movie franchise will see one player take control of Jason Voorhees. From there, you go hunting for the 7 hapless counselors, all controlled by other players. There's more to the experience than that though, so let's look at 15 things you need to know before you buy Friday the 13th, the game. Progression system. Much like the recent crop of horror multiplayer games, Friday the 13th the game will have progression systems for its characters. Each character has his or her own range of stats that can help influence their overall survival, including strength, stealth, and so on. Each class of character will also have their own ability tree, and they can receive bonuses for completing special tasks, thus lending to more XP for leveling up. Different types of Jason. Think one Jason is terrifying? Try dealing with 7, namely from Part 2, Part 3, Part 6, Part 7, Part 8, and Part 9, with Savini Jason available for a limited time to backers during development. Each Jason has their own unique weapons, and though each possesses the same 5 abilities, some will be better at certain abilities than others. For instance, Part 7 Jason has a longer cooldown on Shift, but a shorter cooldown on Sense, thus allowing him to find counselors with high fear all the more easily. Counselors can find weapons and set traps. Though the counselors have to try and evade Jason, they won't be completely defenseless. Counselors can set traps to ensnare Jason and even find weapons. It should be noted that you won't be able to attack Jason head-on, no matter how skilled at Dark Souls you may be. However, the traps and weapons will help give you a leg up on the monster when you need it the most. Epic takedowns. Taking the fight to Jason isn't impossible, you'll just need help. As per the developers, there will be an epic takedown that can be used to actually kill Jason. What conditions will need to be met, how many players it will require, and when it can be pulled off has yet to be revealed. But if Jason can die in the movies, it only stands to reason that he can be killed in-game as well. Post-match highlights. Thanks to a highlights feature called the movie trailer system, players can watch some of the more gruesome and interesting moments. Think of it like Overwatch's play of the game system, except not suited for kids. The trailer will play at the end of each match and showcase the most memorable moments presented in classic 80s style cinematography and editing. Post-launch single-player. The most hyped aspect of the game is the asymmetrical multiplayer, which sees one player controlling Jason and tearing up the other 7 players who are just helpless counselors. However, there will be a single-player component to the game as well. Unfortunately, it won't launch with the game. It will be available as a post-launch update, so hang in there single-player fans, you'll be running from Jason soon enough. 3 types of kills. Jason's kills will have 3 different types in Friday the 13th the game. There are environmental, grapple, and weapon. The weapon kills rely on the traditional hacking and slashing that Jason is known for. Grappling lets Jason do things like lifting a counselor off the ground and choking them to death. Environmental kills are special because they allow you to use the surrounding level to execute a foe. Homage to film kills. The environmental kills really bring out the nostalgia for Friday the 13th fans. Some are straightforward, like picking up a counselor as he kicks and screams and slamming him down on some farm spikes. Others will include the New Blood's famous sleeping bag kill, thus reminding you and your victims that you're Jason frickin' Voorhees. Brutal gore effects. Like the films, Friday the 13th, the game is utterly brutal. When Jason steps on a poor counselor's face, you see it erupt in a mess of bone and blood. One kill sees Jason throwing his victim into a fireplace face first and holding them down as they burn. The sound effects, voice acting, and sheer visceral nature of the game ensure it's as faithful to the original game's gore as possible. KANE, HODDER, and Tom Savini. Gun Media and Illfonic are going out of their way to ensure this is the most authentic Friday the 13th experience yet. KANE HODDER, who played Jason in the original films, was involved in a number of different motion capture sequences for the game. Special effects artist Tom Savini is also on board and helped to design the new skin for Jason. This is basically a reinterpretation of Jason's look from Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell. Needless to say, it's pretty scary. Original theme. It wouldn't be a Friday the 13th game without the classic theme. Though the original film's composer Henry Manfredini has been confirmed to compose the soundtrack, co-creator and designer Ronnie Hobbs confirmed to Dread Central in an interview that the classic theme will indeed be included. Large maps. Though the current maps in Friday the 13th aren't as big as they were early in development, there's still quite a bit of scale to it all. Along with forests to hide in, there will be multiple campgrounds to traverse as you avoid Jason. In total, there will be 3 playable maps: Camp Crystal Lake, Higgins Haven, and Packanack Lodge. Developed on Unreal Engine 4. To help bring the horror classic to life, Gun Media developed Friday the 13th the game on Unreal Engine 4. This was done to help fully realize Camp Crystal Lake in all of its horrifying beauty. It also doesn't hurt that it brings the intense gore and violence to the game out in all kinds of pretty gruesome colors. Tommy Jarvis. As part of a stretch goal, Tommy Jarvis from the final chapter and Jason Lives is included as a special counselor in the game. If another counselor contacts him, then a random dead or escaped counselor can take control of Tommy, who's armed with better stats and a shotgun that's single use. Pamela Voorhees. Pamela Voorhees, aka Jason's mother, played a pretty central role in the first film. Though one of the stretch goals was to include Pamela as a killer with her own animations, it wasn't met. The weird thing is that the stretch goal for Tommy Jarvis also wasn't met, but he's still included. The official Wikia lists Pamela being involved somehow, and considering how important she is to the franchise, it would be weird if she didn't have some kind of cameo somewhere. That'll be it for this video. If you like what we're doing, please go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.